So in the previous class we had already discussed about the nutrition in organisms, and we had discussed about the nutrition in human being also. So the food material taken in during the process of nutrition, that is used in cells to provide energy for various life processes. So different organisms do this in different ways. Some use oxygen to break down glucose completely into carbon dioxide and water. Some other use other pathways that do not involve oxygen. That means diverse organisms use diverse different ways to break down the glucose. Some are using the involvement of oxygen, and some are breaking down without involving the oxygen. So in all the cases, whatever may be the cases, in all the cases the first step is the breakdown of glucose, which is a 6 carbon molecule, into 3 carbon molecule called pyruvate. So first of all, a 6 carbon molecule known as glucose is break down into 3 carbon molecule called pyruvate, and this process takes place in the cytoplasm. The glucose is broken down to pyruvate, that is 6 carbon molecule is broken down to 3 carbon molecule. This is the first step, whether the organisms involve the oxygen or they don't involve the oxygen to break down the glucose. First of all the glucose are converted to pyruvate, that is 6 carbon molecule to 3 carbon molecule. That takes place in the cytoplasm. This process takes place in the cytoplasm. Again, the pyruvate may be converted to ethanol and carbon dioxide. So if the pyruvate, when the pyruvate or the 3 carbon molecule is converted to ethanol and carbon dioxide, that process takes place in yeast during fermentation. So since that process takes place in the absence of air, this is called anaerobic respiration. So when the process takes place in the absence of air, that is called anaerobic respiration. So first of all, the glucose is converted to pyruvate. Again, the pyruvate is further converted to ethanol and carbon dioxide. So in this process, when the pyruvate is converted to ethanol and carbon dioxide, the oxygen is not involved. In this process, the oxygen is not involved. Since this process takes place in the absence of oxygen, that is called anaerobic respiration, and this process takes place in yeast during fermentation. The pyruvate is converted to ethanol and carbon dioxide with the release of some amount of energy, that is because of the absence of oxygen. This process takes place in the absence of oxygen, that is why it is called anaerobic respiration, and this takes place in the yeast. And the breakdown of pyruvate using oxygen, that is taking place inside the mitochondria of cell. So when the pyruvate breaks down using the oxygen, that process takes place in the mitochondria. The process breakups the three in that process this breakup, pyruvate breakups, the 3 carbon pyruvate molecule breakups to give the molecules of carbon dioxide, 3 molecules of carbon dioxide, and the other product is water and energy. In mitochondria, pyruvate or the 3 carbon molecule breaks up to give carbon dioxide, water and energy, and this process takes place in the presence of oxygen. Since this is taking place in the presence of oxygen, it is called aerobic respiration. So we got basically we got two types of respiration, that is anaerobic and aerobic. Anaerobic takes place in the absence of oxygen, and aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen. Then the anaerobic respiration gives ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy, and the aerobic respiration gives carbon dioxide, water and energy. The anaerobic respiration takes place in the yeast, and the anaerobic respiration takes place in the yeast, and aerobic respiration takes place in the mitochondria. So there are two types of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic. So the release of energy in the aerobic process is much more than the anaerobic process, because here the presence of oxygen is involved. That is why here we are getting a lot of energy as compared to the anaerobic respiration. So the release of energy is more in aerobic respiration than the anaerobic respiration. And sometimes when there is a third case also, This is the two case, aerobic and anaerobic. But sometimes there is the third case, which is when there is lack of oxygen in our muscle cells, another pathway for breakdown of pyruvate is taken. So when we feel the lack of oxygen, or when there is a lack of oxygen in our muscle cells, the pyruvate is converted to lactic acid. The pyruvate is converted to lactic acid, which is also a 3-carbon molecule. So this build up the lactic acid in our muscles during sudden activity causes cramps. So this lactic acid, it causes cramps in our muscles, in our body muscles, and this is here the pyruvate is converted to lactic acid, which is this cramp is because of the lactic acid, which is also a 3-carbon molecule. So when there is lack of oxygen in our muscle cell, pyruvate break down to lactic acid or converted to lactic acid, which is also a 3-carbon molecule, and this lactic acid in our muscles during sudden activity causes cramps. Though the energy released during cellular respiration is immediately used to synthesize a molecule called ATP, which is used to fuel all other activities in the cell, and we had already studied ATP is known as the powerhouse, or the powerhouse of all the energy, or it provides energy when required. So the energy released during cellular respiration or aerobic respiration is immediately used to synthesize a molecule called ATP. So ATP, the full form adenosine triphosphate, it is known as the energy currency for most cellular processes. The energy released during the process of respiration is used to make an ATP molecule from ADP and inorganic phosphate. So ATP, that is used to make ATP molecule from ADP, adenosine diphosphate, ADP and inorganic phosphate. So here ADP is known as adenosine diphosphate, and it is an important organic compound in metabolism and is essential to the flow of energy in living cells. So it is an important organic compound of metabolism and used to make ATP also. So this is the inorganic, and when it mixes with the inorganic phosphate, it is the organic, most important organic compound, and when it mixed with the inorganic phosphate, we get ATP. So here endothermic processes in all the cells then use this ATP to derive the reactions. So the energy when the terminal phosphate linkage is in ATP is broken using water, the energy equivalent to 30.5 kilojoule per mole is released. So here the energy released is 30.5 kilojoule per mole. So this ATP can be used in cells for contraction of muscles, protein synthesis, conduction of nervous impulses, and many other activities. So ATP is very much important for the most of the cellular process. So in plants we will see how respiration takes place. First of all, we will discuss in plants. So the aerobic respiration depends on oxygen. Aerobic, I have told you 3 types: anaerobic, aerobic, and then when the lack of oxygen in our muscles. So aerobic respiration needs depends on oxygen. That is why there is a need of sufficient intake of oxygen, and in plants the sufficient intake of oxygen we can see because the plants exchange gases through the stomata, and the large intercellular spaces ensure that all cells are in contact with air. So in plants, stomata helps in the respiration. So through the stomata, carbon dioxide and oxygen are exchanged by diffusion. By the process of diffusion, they can go into the cells or away from them and out in the air. The direction of diffusion depends upon the environmental conditions and the requirement of plant. So at night, when there is no photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is eliminated. Carbon dioxide is eliminated, or carbon dioxide is going out from the stomata. During the daytime, carbon dioxide generated during respiration is used up for photosynthesis. So during daytime there is no carbon dioxide released, instead oxygen releases during the daytime. So during night time, through the stomata, carbon dioxide releases, and during daytime carbon dioxide is used up in the photosynthesis process and oxygen is released through the stomata. Similarly, animals also have different organs for the uptake of oxygen and for the removal of carbon dioxide. So terrestrial animals can breathe oxygen in the atmosphere, but animals, those who are living in water, they use the oxygen dissolved in water. So aquatic animals use gills for the respiration. Aquatic animals they take the oxygen which is dissolved in the water, and since the amount of dissolved oxygen is low compared to the amount of oxygen in the air, the rate of breathing in aquatic organism is much faster than the terrestrial organisms. Fishes taken in water through their mouths and force it past the gills where the dissolved oxygen is taken up by the blood. Similarly, terrestrial organisms are also having different organs for the respiration. They also absorb oxygen and release the carbon dioxide. So all these organs have a structure that increase the surface area which is in contact with the oxygen rich atmosphere, and for different organisms they use different ways. Different organs are there in different animals to absorb the oxygen and to release the carbon dioxide. So in terrestrial animals, different animals have different organs for the absorption of oxygen and for the release of carbon dioxide. So different animals use different organs, like human beings use lungs, or the through the air, through the nose air is going in, and with the help of the lungs the respiration takes place. So in the human beings, how the respiration is taking place using the lungs, that we will discuss in the next class. So now you will you read the types of respiration, that is aerobic, anaerobic, and the respiration when there is a lack of oxygen in our muscles, and try to understand how the other organisms like aquatic organisms or the plants are taking oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. For human being, we will the respiratory system of human being we will study in the next class.